Hi guys, welcome back to Cass MMA. Today I'm going to be getting into Dan Hooker pulling out of the fight against Justin Gaethje, which to be honest is fucking heartbreaking news. I know we're all pretty sad. Man, I was so fucking excited for UFC 313 with Justin Gaethje and Dan Hooker going at it. Fucking going CTE for CTE, going brain cell for brain cell and giving us a war. But the reality is Dan Hooker spars like an absolute fucking dumbass and he hurt his knuckle and he's out. So we need a replacement. Honestly, Dan Hooker's out. Who's going to replace Dan Hooker? And I'm just going to get right into my plans for the replacements. The first one is a guy who volunteered himself. It's Rafael Fiziev. And, I mean, this would be interesting. The first fight was decently close. You know, Fiziev was able to keep it entertaining. I mean, Fiziev has been complaining that he doesn't have a fight. And I think he could beat Gaethje this time around. This is just going to be the way I go about this. I'm going to tell you guys who my potential replacement is and who I think is going to win. Man, I think Fiziev could genuinely beat Justin Gaethje this time. I thought that first fight was really, really close. I thought it was a draw. Some people had it as obviously Gaethje won on 2 scorecards, the one, but Gaethje's coming off of a KO. And Fiziev's good, man. Fiziev hasn't fought in a while, but Fiziev, I know he fucking got KO'd by Gamrot, but I think he's a good fighter. I think he could beat Justin Gaethje. And I think all 4 of the guys that I'm obviously going to tell you the rest of them later are a harder matchup for Gaethje than Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker, I think Gaethje would beat pretty easily. I'm going to drop my UFC 313 predictions tomorrow now because obviously one of the biggest fights on the card fell off and I need to make this video today. But those will be coming out tomorrow. But first guy, Rafael Fiziev, I think Justin Gaethje will lose. And this feels like the most likely one. I made this list in order of who I think is the most likely. I think they're going to give it to Fiziev. I think he's going to be the short notice replacement. I don't think they're going to rebook Justin Gaethje versus Dan Hooker because I don't think Dan Hooker really deserves it. He beat Gamrot by split decision. I know he's entertaining. I know he fucking goes and laughs in between rounds. And I know he's a warrior. But I think it's going to be Justin Gaethje, Rafael Fiziev. And when Fiziev wins, it sort of messes up the lightweight division. You don't know. I could see Justin Gaethje losing a 5-round decision. And I could see them throwing him back in there against Dustin Poirier. I could see Justin Gaethje turning around decently quick and fighting Poirier for Poirier's retirement fight. But the next guy who I think could replace Fiziev is Renato Moicano. He cannot afford to lose. I think Renato Moicano is pretty likely. He fucking fought for 4 minutes against Islam, took 2 punches and got dorsed. He didn't take any damage. He said on social media he's willing to take it on Twitter. He tweeted out, give him 2 sparring sessions and he'll fight Justin Gaethje. And again, I think Gaethje loses this. I think Renato Moicano is going to be able to take him down. And Moicano, I know he lost to Islam, but he still has the fucking momentum that he had before the Islam fight. And I really do see Renato Moicano getting a takedown, fucking grounding pounding Justin Gaethje. And probably getting him out of there by ground and pound in round 2, round 3. I mean, I think Moicano's one of those guys who's always training. I don't think Moicano takes time off. So I think his cardio will be fine. He can make the weight pretty easily. And honestly, yet again, I think Gaethje's going to lose this one. So fucking Gaethje's gotten fucked by this Dan Hooker pulling out. Because I think he beat Dan Hooker. I think he would have probably KO'd him. And he probably gotten himself a title shot versus Islam in fucking June. Until Topuria beats up on somebody and gets the fight. And I'll get to Topuria later. Because there's one outcome that I think would be incredibly cool. But that's going to be at the end of the video. And the next guy, another guy who volunteered himself on social media, is Mateusz Gamrot. Obviously, he's coming off of a loss to Dan Hooker. But it was close. I mean, he knocked down Dan Hooker. That was a fucking great fight. And I'll be honest with you guys. Yet again, I think he beats Justin Gaethje. I think the styles... Actually, I take that back. I think Gaethje gets this one done. I think Gaethje probably KOs Gamrot. I think Gamrot kind of quit in the Hooker fight. He sort of let the fight get away from him. And I think, honestly, Gaethje gets this one done. So, finally, I hope this matchup happens for Gaethje's sake, because he doesn't deserve to get thrown in there against the Moicano, against the Fiziev, where I think he loses because of just the stylistic matchup. I think Fiziev leg kicks him at range. I think Moicano takes him down and fucking ground and pound TKOs him. And I think he can beat Gamrot. So I hope this is the matchup that happens, because I like Gaethje. You know, he's a fucking warrior. He's that type of fighter. So I hope we get Gaethje versus Gamrot. But the one that we're all really hoping happens, Justin Gaethje versus Ilia Topuria. If Ilia fucking steps up on short notice against Gaethje, beats his ass, KOs him in a round, gets a fight, international fight week, turns around quick, fights Islam, I mean, my God, that would be... If he beats Islam, that's probably his GOAT. Like, if he goes in there short notice, beats Gaethje, turns around, beats Islam, he's the GOAT of the sport. So I really hope Topuria does this. It's not going to be hard for him to make 155. It's not that hard, and he was kind of preparing to fight at 314, maybe. And I mean, my God, this would just be a fucking incredible fight. Honestly, this is completely unrealistic. I know this isn't going to happen, but I wanted to talk about it because Ilia Topuria has a chance to be a fan favorite and to be like fucking a fucking guy who turns around quickly, beats up Justin Gaethje for 2 rounds, KOs him, goes and fights Islam, becomes the GOAT of the sport. But we all know Topuria is not going to do this. Topuria really doesn't have that fucking dog in him. I know he KO'd Volkan Max, but even then he took fucking 10 months in between the Volk fight into the Max fight, and then he immediately went up to 155. Because to him, I think Topuria is not a risk taker. I think Topuria needs reward. And this has a lot of risk because it's Justin Gaethje and he can KO you in a second. And not a lot of reward for Topuria in his mind. Even though this does get him the title shot at 155, but we know his team have said that he wants to go straight into a title shot, which realistically isn't going to happen. So I honestly expect Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev to be the fight that we get. And Topuria to probably fight Dustin Poirier in Poirier's retirement fight, which, I mean, he's going to KO Poirier, but it's alright. Okay, thank you guys for watching. I thought I should probably get a video out there about this whole Dan Hooker situation. And I'll see you guys. I'll make another video tomorrow. It'll be my UFC 313 predictions. Thank you for watching and see you next time.